The January 6th commission is postponing depositions with former President Trump's national security advisor, Michael Flynn, and Mr. Trump's personal assistant. The depositions were scheduled for today, but were put off as they, quote, engage with the committee's investigation. Another key deadline today is for Trump associate Roger Stone and right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. They, along with several others, have been subpoenaed to produce documents to the committee. They are expected to be deposed in mid-December. The question is, will they comply with their subpoenas? And comments from one committee member reveal we may soon know a lot more about the events of January 6th. Republican Liz Cheney offered hints about what is coming in the new year regarding the investigation.
We are making rapid progress. We anticipate next year we will be conducting multiple weeks of public hearings, setting out for the American people in vivid color exactly what happened every minute of the day on January 6th here at the Capitol and at the White House, and what led to that violent attack.
I want to bring in Anthony Adragna now. Anthony covers Congress for Politico and is the author of the helpful article series, Congress Minutes. Hi, Anthony. Welcome. So from the Congresswoman's comments just there, it sounds like we could get a lot more information in the new year. What are you hearing about that timeline?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Those comments from Congresswoman Cheney really kind of offered the first hint of what the committee has planned for next year. I think what they show is that we're going to see a really methodical presentation from the committee about their findings and what lessons should be learned, how the events of January 6th went down. And she offered kind of the first hint into what that may look like in 2022.
And so then what does the rest of the month of December look like in terms of subpoenas and depositions? What are some of the bold names that have still to testify? And additionally, is it really not so much the, headline names that are giving the committee their information, but all the sorts of dozens of other side players who may be filling things in for them right now?
That your last point is really, I think, the crucial part. We heard last week that there have been more than 250 people that have offered testimony to the committee to date. There's a lot of focus, understandably, on some of the big names. You mentioned them, some of them in your lead-in. But I think it's almost like an iceberg. You really have some limited visibility into the activities. And the fact there's more than 250 people that have already cooperated gives you a sense of how much of this may be being done outside of public view. As you were alluding to, there have been kind of a wave of subpoenas. Those deadlines are coming throughout the month. They've been various officials, both, kind of the next level down of Trump insiders and then outside groups, Alex Jones, Roger Stone. Those deadlines, it seems like they keep moving. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happen again as people continue to engage with the committee and decide whether or not they're going to comply or if, exactly how they're going to approach these subpoenas.
And why did the committee, do we have some more insight into why they gave Mike Flynn and Trump's personal assistant those short postponements for their depositions?
Yeah, I think these are actually somewhat routine. As you alluded to, the lawyers are engaging with the committee. We saw former DOJ official Jeff Clark have his postponed as well due to a health condition. So these deadlines, I think they're sort of trying to force action, but it's actually pretty common throughout this process to see people push them off by a couple of days, a week or so, as the lawyers do engage with the committee and figure out exactly how they're going to respond to these requests, demands.
Right, and as you alluded to as well, two Trump lawyers are pleading the fifth: Jeffrey Clark, a former DOJ official, and John Eastman, the attorney who helped the former president allegedly pressure then Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the election. What are you hearing both about this and whether those actions are helping Congress or spurring Congress to sort of change the loophole that, the president was kind of going after, not the loophole, let's say, but that piece of the Constitution that the president was focusing on to try and pressure Mike Pence?
Well, I think it's going to be a critical question coming up on exactly how these officials respond to it. There's been sort of concern about the blanket invoking of the Fifth Amendment. And so I think that will be an interesting call for the Department of Justice on whether or not, obviously we've seen one, Steve Bannon indicted for contempt of Congress. We'll see if that applies here, if Jeff Clark maintains kind of this blanket invocation of the Fifth Amendment. I think there's different people come down on different sides of that legal question. But it'll be really interesting to see people that are perhaps engaging, but only nominally so, and not actually providing information to the committee. And I think you're right. There's going to be an effort to try to hold people to account so that they can't just sort of finagle their way out of responding to these subpoenas.
Right. And Anthony, a former D.C. National Guard official, is accusing 2 senior leaders of lying to Congress and attempting to rewrite the military's response to the January 6th riot. Politico did obtain a memo written by Colonel Earl Matthews where he says these 2 leaders delayed the military order for the National Guard to deploy. That's a serious, allegation. What are you hearing about this memo?
Yeah, this just came to light. My understanding is that portions of this narrative were sort of laid out in the report from the Senate committee that came out a couple of months ago. But I think what this really goes to show and really underscores is just how the recollection and the story of these moments of this horrible day are still very much up, not fully known. And I think that's something we're going to look for when the House committee comes out with its findings, is to really sort of get a definitive account of what's going on. As you mentioned, this memo lays out quite a difference of how the moments are understood. So I think that's something that we're hoping to get greater clarity from when the committee does offer that final report in the new year.
Absolutely. Well, Anthony Adragna from Politico, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.